Hi everyone, Gina Kraft, facilitator of technology integration and coaching. And I wanted to do kind of part 2 of getting your Schoology gradebook set up. So we set up our Schoology gradebook, we got those categories, and now we're going to kind of jump over to the Skyward side. So this is where those two need to be set up the exact same way, so that they can talk freely to each other and so that those assignments can go from Schoology and on over to Skyward for you. So prior to this year, elementary schools have been using the standards-based gradebook, and that does not sync to Schoology and Skyward don't sync with that. So recently this year, they have now transitioned to the secondary gradebook, so it will sync over. So we're going to have a couple things we have to set up here, so it's going to look a little bit different. But initially, this all should probably look pretty much the same. We're going to go up here to Teacher Access, and then we're going to go down to my gradebook, and I'm just going to click a course. Let's do math. So I'm going to click on Gradebook, and this is where it's going to start to look different. Previously, everything fell into daily work, but on this gradebook, you choose which categories you want. Now, I remember in Schoology, I selected assessment, participation, and classwork as my categories. So in Skyward, I'm going to have the exact same categories. In order to do that, I'm going to come over here to categories, click on that. And you can see that these categories are the same standard ones that we saw in Schoology. They're just the basic go-to ones. You may want some of these, you may want none of them, you may want all of them, but if you want to make any changes, you're going to go over here to add and edit categories. I'm going to go ahead and unselect all because I don't want all of these. I just want assessment, so I'm going to check that. Classwork, I'm going to check that. And participation. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, participation. I'm going to check that. And then I'm going to hit save. So I can now see that these are my categories: assessment, classwork, and participation. I can also see up here that it says grades are based on total points. So if that's what you want, perfect. If you want it to be weighted, you're going to hit this change score method. And then you can use this base grades on percents assigned to categories. So then you could click that and then you could change that. But I want it to stay on total points. So I'm just going to keep that on total points. Now, if you know I want to use these categories for all of my classes, you can use this button, use these categories for my other classes. If you have multiple courses that you want these to be on, you can select those, and then you can hit save. And then it will go across all of your courses. So I'm going to hit this back button. I'm just going to make sure that my category is saved. So I'm going to go back to categories, and I can see that they're there. I'm going to double check. I know I clicked that I wanted them to go across many categories or many courses, but I just want to make sure. So being proactive, I'm just going to go ahead and check and make sure that my categories were there. And they are. So I would recommend that you double check, make sure that you have all of these categories in the courses that you have selected. Now, if you want different categories than the ones that you had said, maybe you want something different in math, or maybe you want something different in science, you do need to set this up in each course. Okay, so I want the same categories across lots of courses. But if you want different categories for each course, you need to set each course up with those categories. So you're going to do the exact same process. You go to Teacher Access, you'll go to My Gradebook, and then you can choose social science. Go to the gradebook, and then you can set up those categories right there. So I have not set up those categories yet, so I would be able to do the exact same process. So this is going to be really important and really foundational in making sure that we don't have tons of those sync errors with Schoology. And I know this is new, and so we really want to make sure that we have our categories set up in Schoology and then those exact same categories set up in Skyward so that we have minimal issues whenever we're syncing. So please reach out to your building ed techs with questions. We're all here to help you to make this as smooth of a transition as possible.